There we go.
Hello, everyone. We're live.
Hello.
Hello, pals.
We're finally here.
Okay, we're live.
We are officially live. Hello, everyone. We're seeing some conversation in the comments about maybe not loving it, maybe loving it, depends. So we're gonna go. This was our March book pick. Sorry that we waited so long, but with Easter Sunday and everything, we were just giving ourselves some time. Yes, it did. I was like, what day is it? So we're going to discuss this, and then at the end of the live show, we'll talk about our April book pick, which we're all really excited for. So first off, we always start. Oh yes, Joel's outfit is amazing.
Joel's the only one who's.
I'm committed.
So we always start with our ratings. So please leave your stars down below out of 5. 1 being not your fave, 5 being a new fave. So we'll all do that while the stars are going in. We'll go through the order of Joel talking about his rating, then Elias, then I will share my rating. So please leave your stars, and then we'll discuss ours.
Right. I guess I'm going first. Well, I enjoyed the premise of this book. I enjoyed the way that it was being set up. However, I did feel like the latter portion of the novel failed for me. I think that it built up a lot to just not execute a lot of the things that they were building up towards. And it was kind of like a rushed ending as well. So, like the first half was like 4 or 5 stars. Latter half was like a 2-3 stars. So I'm about like a 3-star overall.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good prescription. I like that.
So I think I'm a mixed bag because I felt like going into this, I was expecting like something different. And then I feel like when I finished it, I feel like it was just juggling too much, like trying to handle all these different topics and all these different things. I thought it was a really great premise going in. But then I think I agree with you, Joel, execution wise, everything that happened with all these characters, with all these different settings, it was just really confusing and it was all over the place. It was really messy for me, in my opinion. I feel like if I didn't listen to the audiobook, I would have probably have DNF'd this, like not gonna lie. But so I'm giving this like a 1.5, a 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't really enjoy it. I thought it was a really big snooze fest. I get the general themes that were explored here. Some of them were important, but I just couldn't overall, I just didn't really enjoy the execution at all. Regarding race, gender, and everything like that. So
yeah,
those are my opinions on that.
Well, I'd have to say when Elias said messy, that was like the perfect description for me. I think when you like read the synopsis, you're like, wow, cool, electrifying, a little sci-fi, like this is going to be an adventure. And then as it continued through, I was a little bit like, we're getting so many mini storylines, and so like the like weight of the story itself is not as powerful to me because it was like spread out too much, in my opinion. So I feel like in terms of like the idea and the writing, it would be like a 3 out of 5. But in terms of how much I enjoyed it, it's sitting more at like a 2 out of 5 for me. I agree with Elias. I probably would have DNF'd it. I don't know. It just wasn't really my thing. So yeah.
I feel like it was just building up. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Go ahead, Joel.
I was like, I know we're not like a massive fan of like longer books, but I really feel like this book could have done with like an extra 100, 200 pages to like flesh out the latter part. But then even then I'm thinking like, how could they have done that with the way that Naomi Alderman kind of like finishes it? It's just like, I feel like she probably would have needed to drop a lot of the stuff that she was building up towards and instead did something else.
I just feel like there was just so many like different elements, different like books into one like mashup. Like in the beginning it felt different, and then in the ending was just bonkers. Like it was so weird. It was so confusing to me, and I was like, what the heck? I feel like the whole book, throughout the entire book, it's like building up to something, and it doesn't. I don't know. I felt like it just fell flat on its face for me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you too, Joel. That it could have been like either fleshed out or just like way shorter in general. Like there are too many characters, too many POVs, like moving everywhere. So
yeah,
sorry.
I think maybe it was like a solid 3 point of views. We would have been like, okay, cool. Like I feel like kind of grounded in this, but I feel like there's like the mayor whose daughter is Jocelyn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you even get like her point of view and then her daughter's point of view, and even then I was like, whoa, I feel like I'm getting two split point of views on one storyline, and that was hard for me to track. So I just feel like it was a little spinning out of control for me.
But like, I think even with like Jocelyn's like point of view in particular, like it was literally only 1 chapter, so like I don't feel like it was needed because they go into the other character that she's with in that scene. We have his perspective literally the next part, so we could have just started with his perspective there and like just not had Jocelyn's point of view at that point. But yeah.
Wait, speaking of like, go ahead.
No, Ellis.
Okay, speaking of point of views, who was your favorite and least favorite to read from? So I guess we're diving into spoilers now. So if you're not here for spoilers,
how we dive into this so quickly? We're just like, okay, this is our ratings. Goodbye.
So, right. Joel, you go first. Favorite and least favorite point of view.
Oh, see, I kind of like. I'm not saying she's my favorite. But like Ali/Eve, her point of view was really interesting purely because of kind of how it tied into like the biblical story and like Eve, kind of Noah's Ark and all of that. And it was really interesting. And this is where I get into like my theory about the Skeins, and all of them, because I think the way that like Ali communicates with her Skein is very particular. And we all see Margot, who's the mayor, talk to her Skein at points as well, which is interesting. And it's kind of like a conscience almost, or a little bit of like instinct, kind of where they're like telling her things to do and like saying, oh, you should do this, or like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if we do that? And it's kind of like, that's kind of the role of conscience plays, but then also maybe like intuition-y, but then also the whole religion that she kind of set up was a bit like, I wouldn't say culty, but like it was very weird in a sense. But yeah, least favorite, I guess his name Darren. Just Roxy's brother.
Yeah, Daryl.
Daryl, that's it. Like I just no.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't need it in a sense, because like he didn't give us anything for the story. He didn't provide anything of value.
He provided the body count. That's what he did.
I mean, true. But yeah, no. Also, I felt like I was cheated out of a sapphic romance. So
LGBTQ, someone said. Yeah, I agree. I feel like for all it's worth, this book, even though I had included characters of color, it never really like went and delved into their backgrounds or who they were as people. I feel like I wouldn't even know that these people were people of color if it was like, it was only mentioned like, oh, he's from Nigeria, but I would never have known because we never really went into his backstory, his background, who he was, like, you know, like their background. Even was it Ali? She was biracial, right? I think I can't remember.
Yes, they see like it on one line.
Yeah, it was like they're done, quit it, and you know, I would have liked that. I would have liked if this book explored, you know, different genders as well, or. It just was really, even though we dived into like different parts of the world, it was still, I think, from a really told in a narrow perspective. I think it was just either mentioned here or there. There was just like all telling and less showing, I think, in my opinion. So I don't really have. Oh, going back to my question, I don't have a specific favorite. I thought although the POVs were really boring, I didn't really like any of the chapters. If I had to choose one that was really interesting at first, I think I would have chose Margot. Is it Margot? Right? The mayor, because I thought that was really interesting. You know, from a political standpoint, someone in the government having to deal with all this. But then after a while, they all sort of like blur all together. That I didn't really care to distinguish between each POV. But yeah,
I think for me, I liked learning about Roxy because I thought her story started off really strong, where like, the mom is murdered and like
Mm-hmm.
she, doesn't know who to trust, and that she's also the strongest one with the power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought like she was interesting to follow, and I thought that the setup of her story was pretty intense. And so I was like, wow, I feel like that was kind of like what grabbed me at first with the story, was like having this kind of like, people are in the house and she's like, she has to figure out how to unlock the door, or like she's, she has to like get out and try to save her mom. And so I was like, okay, this is like an adventure. This is fun. The only reason why I didn't love reading Margot's section was because I don't love like political fiction. And so like to hear about being a mayor, I was just like, oh, okay. Like I think I was more interested in like this like Roxy character who like got her power stolen and all this stuff that I don't know.
Why do you think Roxy was so like powerful? Like why did she have the most power? Like was it ever explained in the book? Like why was she the most most powerful one?
I mean, they didn't really explain why Ali could magically heal people either, so
that is true. That is true.
I was even confused by that. I was like, so sometimes you can heal and other times you can't heal. So are you really healing? Like I was like, what's going on here? So maybe I was just confused.
Yeah. It's one of those things, if are we truly meant to like understand it, but then it's just like, I feel like we needed a bit more explanation to make the magic system, or what I'm calling a magic system, believable. But then like, yeah, it just felt weird with that whole skein thing. How did we feel about the time jumps that happened throughout? Like, obviously, because we started like 9 years ago, then we got to like 8, then 7, no, then 6.
Doesn't this whole book though, like in the beginning, we find out that we're like, I don't know, thousands of years into the future, and they're finding this book manuscript, and then at the end, he's like writing it to the author, like canon. He's like, oh, hey, what do you think?
I think he's like, I finished writing this book, and he's like, Naomi, can you read it? But did you realize that like the author's name is an anagram for Naomi Alderman?
No, I did not. What?
Yeah, like I clocked it as soon as I saw it, because I was like, Neil, I was like, that's Naomi Alderman right there. I was like, I don't know if this is just like my literature brain knowing that like women writers had to always write under male names during like the 18th century. So I was like, I think that's like her way of subverting it. And it's like right near the end where she kind of like makes that joke where she's like, shouldn't you write this under a female name? And hence we get The Power by Naomi Alderman.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Good.
So
good catch.
Like my little tip of the month. I don't know.
I think the time jumps for me, like as you were saying, it's like a little messy, Elias. Like it felt like there's so many characters, so many point of views, and now we're jumping time, and now I'm having a hard time even following like where we are and when we are and like who we are, because the POVs just kept jumping around. So I think I guess also like to me, what was the countdown to? Like what were we counting down to?
The reset to society. Right.
Yeah,
the whole driven plot at the end was like Eve, they wanted to basically do a culture reset on like the whole world, essentially, to bring back to like the Stone Age time so they can rebuild the matriarchy. Yeah, essentially. So I mean, it was a mess to get there, but we got there.
Yeah. I feel like it could have worked if it was like a cohesive timeline without time jumping, because I feel like the way the time jumps worked didn't feel like time had changed that much until like we actually got to see some of the effects, and even then it wasn't developed fully. So I felt like it just kind of didn't click in that sense with the time jumps. But I think what this novel did well was kind of explore like one view of feminism, and like in a way how like it can change if it goes to a certain extreme. I think that it did that well of that one particular viewpoint, because I do think that it's definitely not representative of intersectional feminism, because of certain lack of representations. But I think that it definitely tried to say something.
What were some of our favorite moments and then least favorite moments? Like, also let us know in the chat, like what was
I have no favorite scenes. The entire book was my least favorite.
I will give you one favorite. I took a photo of this because I was like, I love this moment. It's basically where Ali and Roxy are talking, and Roxy has to go back to Britain, and she's like, I miss my family and all this. And then Ali's like, I don't want her to go. Can we stop that from happening? And then the voice is like, remember, sweetheart, the only way you're safe is if you own the place. And then Ali's like, can I own the whole world? And I was like, I'm fully for this world domination sapphic plot. And then hetero nonsense got in the way. I feel like rewriting the latter part of this novel just to have Ali take over the world.
The book never really dived into any like sexuality or anything. It was all very straight.
Yeah.
Oh, and Elias, you already said you didn't have a favorite moment, so never mind. Yeah. I was like, I wonder what Elias's was. Favorite moment. Oh, I just from like kind of a sci-fi standpoint, I kind of liked when the police were raiding the like convent and they like had all the water go out and like then she had like shocked them through the water. I just thought it was like fun. Like I thought that was one of the scenes where I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, this is a fun and interesting read, at least from just like an action standpoint. But I think that I just thought it was like an interesting, like, and I could see it coming because he was like, and none of them thought to put on rubber boots this morning. And I was like, okay, so we know where this is going. But I just thought of like, from an adventure standpoint, it was fun.
True.
I mean, this is probably going off tangent, but I think like I was thinking of all the characters and everything and all that. I think one of the characters, if I had to choose, that was most interesting to read from was probably Tunde, because his like journalism, like investigation story arc was actually really interesting in how like he went to achieve certain things, put himself in dangerous situations and all that. And I thought that was really interesting. How he got like the main juicy stories when no one else could. But
True.
And I liked watching like his like at first it was just one cell phone video because he just had a good feeling, and so then you kind of watch this like
he was only happened to have that one cell phone video where no one else did. So. But I mean, whatever.
Yeah. So I thought it was like, I mean, it was cool seeing him like he gets this like little cell phone video and then he just continues to chase the story. So I thought that was interesting. And then again, like, so I thought that his point of view started off really strong and then it started to kind of deteriorate like towards the end, like all these point of views were happening so fast that I was like, what is going on? Like, where are we going with this? But yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, where this book also failed was like where it tried to have a conversation about like we saw in the book a man, I think it was Jocelyn's, like I think Ryan, who she was seeing at the time, he also had a bit of a skein and like some of the power, but it was very weak. And they basically like, I think they boiled that down to like a chromosomal abnormality or something, which like gave him that. And I just feel like it really missed the mark on like trying to have a conversation about gender as a whole and kind of how like we all share kind of feminine and masculine aspects and just how like it can not only be just women that get this power and like it can affect people who aren't a man or a woman either. And I just think that it missed that mark for me. I think that it was definitely like cisgendered focused.
No gay or trans or non-binary characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that would have been like really, really interesting to read from that perspective, to see all that in this world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought someone brought up Tunde and Roxy ended up together. That was so weird to me. I was like, what? Okay, how old is? I didn't even know how old she was. Like, I don't know. I totally forgot about the time jump for a second, and I was like, wait a second. So I had to go back, and I was like, okay, there is a time jump. But then I didn't really feel their connection like at all. She saves his ass, but then I don't know. I just couldn't see it. Didn't really see it. Didn't really feel it.
Yeah.
So it was really weird to me. I was like, okay.
It felt forced because he's just like, oh, you saved my life. Now I'm just gonna. And it's like, no,
Yeah. I thought the same thing. I was like, when it started happening, I was like, I guess you're the author, so you can tell me that it's happening, but I'm not buying into it. I kind of liked the idea of like, okay, they're helping each other out and maybe they have like a friendship from there or they just like have an understanding of each other. But that kind of like, oh, now we're a thing. I was like, why though? Like, I don't understand. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What else is someone saying they love all the books we have in our backgrounds.
Oh. Let's see it.
Yes, I do agree. Jocelyn's storyline was a chance that was missed to discuss gender, and come on, Naomi, get it in there.
When did this book come out? Because it's
2016.
I thought it was fairly new. Yeah, so I feel like there could have totally been a conversation about it. So I thought maybe with the way you read it, you're like, oh, maybe it's from the 90s, but it definitely wasn't. So
it does feel like a book that's published in the 90s, and it's very weird how it does that. Like, it gives that kind of like almost Donna Tartt writing sense, almost in the way that the prose is, like in that style, in terms of age, but like the rest of it is definitely a thing. But I see a lot of people recommending The Handmaid's Tale, because I know this was I think
Margaret
Atwood. Yeah, it was like
she blurbed the book too.
Yeah, so I haven't read it.
Someone said, yeah, me neither. I saw the show.
I have not seen the show either.
I feel like as sci-fi overall, I feel like this book lightly touches like that sort of aspect, but I feel like we never really got to. I was expecting like a different sort of sci-fi. I feel like this wasn't the type of sci-fi I was expecting or wanting to read from. It was more dystopian than anything else. Just adding some like supernatural abilities. I guess it was less sci-fi than what I was expecting. So
yeah, I feel like it could have done a lot more in terms of the power, and like
it just could have done a lot more in general.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, I think for the electrifying, the whatever the whole sci-fi premise of it, I feel like I was expecting it to be this like when they discover their powers and how they like rise in strength, but like it felt like just one day they were like transferring the electricity to everyone, and I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be more about like how that all came to be, and instead it just kind of is. And that's fine that like that's, I mean, I understand that there was like kind of two ways that she could have gone with the story, either like the origin of the power or going and doing like a more personal look at like how it affects society. But I think I was expecting a more like sci-fi, like how did it get there and how did it become and like where was the origin? So
Laurie says, this book was a concept in search of a story. And I completely agree.
It was just trying to accomplish too much stuff.
Yeah.
Like there were just so many things that I think Naomi Alderman could have done, was just stick to one thing and then like expand upon that and then introduce another. But she introduced so many things, and then I feel like we were left with so many unanswered questions or unanswered things. Like there was one chapter like some of the POVs, they would build up to something and then we would time jump, and then they had already accomplished that or done something that like felt again that was, to me, was just all tell and no show. So I hate when books do that.
I feel like it was very half-baked, and like whilst the only half-baked thing I do like is my Ben and Jerry's, it just didn't it didn't do it for me. Like I feel like whilst we did get some aspects of world building with like the artifacts that we got in like the little interlude bits, I guess, like which like they were interesting, but I didn't get why. Like I'm assuming it's trying to show like female empowerment and like the skeins throughout like this new history that they've been like developing, but it's also like they never referenced in the actual plot. So like, because we had something similar to that in like Addie LaRue with like the artworks and stuff, and they actually made relevance to the story because they're mentioned, but the artifacts aren't mentioned in the power. So I'm like, why am I seeing these?
Yeah,
someone named Jamie brought up a really interesting point. She said, or they said, it was disappointing to see women portrayed in the same way men are presently. Like, was this one positive after all? Yeah. I think there are some aspects of the book where it was trying to do something with feminism, and I feel like it sort of went anti-man, I guess, in several aspects for me. And I'm like, is that is that really, what feminism is all about? And, different aspects of feminism that were introduced in this book, like how this book was, I feel like to me it was more about white feminism. I mean, there are different aspects to that, of course, but like overall trying to accomplish what it was trying to accomplish for me. It wasn't very successful in that regard, but
it's like they just swapped it. So it was like, let's just take current society and then flip it around. Like to me, it was.
Someone said it was like a role reversal, and I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more
like women did literally the same thing that men were doing. Like,
yeah, I guess it's like what I'm thinking. Like, if Naomi Alderman was going for the role reversal aspect, is kind of like those, like, those YouTube videos you used to see about like white people getting like racial remarks and stuff put against them, and they're like, this is how racism is if you do it to other. I feel like this book is that. I feel like it's like, men, this is how you treat women, and like this is why like feminism is a thing, because you literally treat women like shit, and so that's why we swap the associations. But then it's like, Scott.
Sorry, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead and finish that. What you were.
I was just going to say, I was just like, I think the whole point was just like the oppression of gender is probably just a bad thing in total. And so we basically needed something that was equal.
In equal balance, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you, Joe, because someone also said it's all about how power corrupts. I think it was Emily, but how power corrupts and how when someone has that power, how do they use it and everything. And I thought that was, that's probably one of the better things that the novel did in that approach, is to corruption and greed and power in that regard. But so many people are saying so many like great things about power and everything here.
There is a comment by Olivia. I think this book was good at delivering the message that if you give any group of people power, like, and this immense kind of power, some people use it for good and some will not. This is a good point. I think that, like, at the end of the day, I think this goes back to like the biblical sense of like conscience and like the skeins and stuff. Like, people will be influenced to either use the power for themselves or use it for the like betterment of other people. I think Ali/Eve kind of wanted to try and use it for the betterment of everyone, but then kind of went a bit too far, and then just like, trying to reset the world probably isn't the best thing for it. But then we had kind of like the almost like selfish capitalist aspect with the mayor, who's like, I'm gonna like build this in like training industry and like funnel money back into the economy, and this is how I'll become president. And it's kind of like, but it's just showing kind of like what people will do with a weapon once they have access to it.
Yep.
I agree. And then, like, speaking of like biblical sense, like, what did you guys think about the religion aspect and how it played so heavily in this book? I know some people in the Discord chat really hated it, and then some people were like, it's okay. And I really liked how it all played overall, and everything. I think, I guess I'll go first with my gripe. I guess my gripe with it overall is just like, it felt too narrow-minded, like two-dimensional. Like, it was all the same everywhere. Like, they all believed in Eve, I guess. Like, that just was like unrealistic to me, because like the group chat or the Discord chat mentioned this like really well. Like, there are so many different cultures and how people view religion overall, in that perspective. So I thought that was a really great aspect in that sense. But this book was a mess. Tried too many different things, and unrealistically too in some aspects for a book that's realistic.
Yeah, I think that it did well in some aspects in terms of like the religion, because like I'm Catholic school raised, so I can like see about like some of the stories and how they influence like the society as a whole. But I feel like it did put a lot of focus on Christianity, and it got a bit too much. Like Alia said, it got a bit too much near the end, where it was just like, ooh, we are gonna like, remake the world. And whilst there are like there was like other churches that like did reject Eve, I think, like there was like this one church that was like, no, we're not going to subscribe to this. But like even then, it wasn't like the opposition wasn't really touched on massively, except for that one part with like the police coming in and like being like, oh, we're going to electrocute you all. So yeah, I think that it was okay for what it tried to do, but then also focused on it a bit too much.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think that when it was first introduced, like the religious aspect, I was like, okay, like people need something to believe in, and there's this Eve that like people want to put their belief in because the world is changing underneath them, and they want to be able to believe into something, or they want to be able to put some trust or something to follow, I guess. I do think that it was really focused on Christianity, and I think that especially towards the end, exactly what you just said, like it just to the point where I was like, okay, this is really religious all of a sudden. Like I felt like I was getting a lot of politics and a lot of religion, and I was really excited to see more of like the electricity, like this kind of sci-fi aspect. And so when those things came up, that's great, and I'm glad that it worked for a lot of people. But just for me, I was like, oh, I was expecting like this like more electric standpoint, and instead we started getting a lot of religious aspects. But what do you think of I saw a question above, like what did you think of this like Eve voice in Allie's head? Was that interesting? Cool. Was that cool?
It was interesting. I think it was like, it's definitely interesting to see a conversation with oneself, and kind of like how I think Allie almost had like a lack of faith in herself like at the beginning of the book. And we got to see her like rely on this voice almost. And then she meets Roxy, and then she kind of like cancels out the voice in her head, being like, oh, like I have Roxy now, she's great. But then as Roxy begins to leave, she begins to rely back on that voice as kind of the support system almost, being like, oh, I don't want to leave, help me, help me, help me. And so then she relies on this voice so much that it almost becomes enmeshed with her. And I think when the voice disappears at the end, I think it's when like two become one. And so it's kind of like where like all the voices just merge together, and it's just like, yeah, now they're one and the same. Like she knows what she has, and like someone said, absolute power corrupts absolutely, which is one of my favorite quotes. And it just, yeah, I think that just the power corrupted her in the end, and the voices gave into her temptation.
I thought it was interesting at first. Like I was like, "Oh, who is this? You know, what are you doing here? What's the reason?" But it was just the voice. Apparently, was just I don't know. Like, why was Allie chosen in the first place? You know, I didn't. The ending. Did it really explain that in the ending? The whole ending was just a really big blur to me. But it just wasn't. Did you explain who Eve was essentially?
Yeah.
Like,
I think
no. Not really. It was so like I was just confused by the ending. Like overall, I was intrigued at first, and then I was like, "Who? Well, you know, who does this like voice offer to the whole story? Is it like, you know, maybe her conscience? I don't know." It was confusing. Like, was it only Allie who had the voice? You know, as well. I don't know.
I think Margot had like they mentioned Margot having like a little voice like later on, but I think it was literally once and like never mentioned again. It was like near the end of the novel where like Jocelyn, after her attack with Daryl, she's like in the hospital and whatever, and then I think the voice, like there's a voice that like says something to her, and like there's no other option, and so Margot goes off. And like
aliens.
The voice. Honestly, I mean, that would have been a bad plot.
Plot twist.
They're all aliens.
Someone asked what happened between Allie and her adoptive mom at the end, and I also like maybe I was just like so confused by the end, but I don't understand what was going on. Like with the the governor's, the wife, the adoptive mom of Allie, the one that she escaped in the beginning of the book. Like what happened with all that at the end? I was so confused.
Wasn't I'm trying to think what, like, because the adoptive mom gave her something, so didn't she? She was like, here's all the business stuff. Oh wait, no, that's not Allie. That's Roxy.
I thought Allie's mom or stepmom was like, her like, how do I say this? Like the stepfather was wasn't the stepfather like. I don't know how to. Wasn't he the one like who sexually assaulted Allie because of the stepmom who told him to do so in that regard? I don't know. It was just. It didn't really make any sense to me. I just didn't understand.
The mom was letting the abuse.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I love how we're all confused.
Yeah.
Just like, oh.
Okay, the mom was complicit.
But yeah.
Encouraging to...
I thought that was kind of implied at the beginning because she knew that like her stepmom would like turn up the music. And so I thought she was kind of like, she's turning the other cheek, but like she understands what's going on. And so that's why she runs. And so that's why I guess like why I didn't know why Allie's stepmom came up was because, or adoptive mom, I couldn't, to me, I was like,
it came up as a final twist, I guess.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
For whatever reason. And I don't know, it was just weird to me as well.
I guess it was more so like a full circle moment, I guess. Like where like we see Allie at the beginning, like kind of running away, and then we see her come back as a changed person almost. But then even then I feel like we already got that already. I don't think we needed that scene to justify it.
I guess in a way, it was like telling Allie like, oh, there's no more faith in humanity, you know, reset. Right?
Okay.
In that regard, probably, I don't know. It was too confusing.
Yeah, it's one of the many things that were being tackled in this book and was a bit, there was just too much going on.
Should have had content warnings, yeah.
That's true. All of the plot twists near the end were so bad. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, someone pointed out, Chloe said that it was Allie realizing that women can be evil too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's because Allie, true, because throughout the novel, Allie was like saying to Roxy, like, don't trust men, because she was like, oh yeah, my brother, and she was like, no, don't trust them. Although that does like come into play for Roxy's storyline. I think that like Allie kind of getting that, oh, women can also be evil. This is a flip on my brain.
I see.
So I guess they both get their like, not comeuppance, but like the foreshadowing was there. That's what I want to say. Not comeuppance. Foreshadowing was there. On a scale from 1 to Elias, how done are you with this book? I feel like that needs to be like a new scale. Wait.
Peace out. Bye.
No, you're coming back here.
Oh. Anyways, I'm really excited for the next book.
Okay, Alice is not gonna hate the next. Ooh.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not gonna hate the next book.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Wind.
I think the next 3 books you won't hate. So
I definitely won't.
I think this is the end of like the season of Alias hatred. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I was just annoyed at the book.
No, I get you. I think the more I talk,
romance.
Ooh.
Do we have a romance pick?
I don't know. Do we?
I don't
think so.
I thought maybe we
really
thought about one.
Like we've strictly romance.
We've got a historical fic. We've got a thriller. We've got.
We announced the book picks. We announced the book picks in our Discord all the way to the months of May, right?
June. Yeah. So yes, House and
so I think everyone's asking what's the third, but we haven't said what June is yet.
I haven't said what the third is. Oh. Wait, I want to see. Can they? Okay, they can't see it. It's on my shelf, but they can't see it, so it's fine.
Let me see. Oh, mine is right there. But you
guys, I forgot. I forgot what the
I'm not.
Ooh, no. Any date in mind for the next book? Does everyone like have do Saturdays or Sundays work better? I know that we usually do Sundays, but like everyone in the chat, do you usually have like a day that you prefer? Because we always do Sundays, but I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I just realized we've done it again. So you know how we like read this for Women's History Month, and like June is Pride Month, and we are reading like a gay read in June. Our brains, we just aligned with the calendar so well. A lot of people say Sundays either.
Okay.
Someone said pandemic, so Sundays.
Yeah,
a lot of people like Sundays. I like Sundays as well. It gives me the Saturday to read if I haven't read it yet.
You know what I did? You know how I coped with this? The entire time, like halfway through, I was like, oh my God, I want to DNF this so badly, but I don't think that book club etiquette can do. So throughout the entire time, I listened to this on like 2.25 speed. And I was like,
2.25.
Yeah, I was just like,
I was listening to 3.5.
Just talk in the back, talk in the background. Oh my God.
What app are you using that gets you to 3.5?
I need to get on your level. I thought I was being like, shit. You're actually, wow, that was incredible. But yeah. I was just playing computer games the entire time while I was just like listening to this. So that really helped me because I don't think I ever just sat down and read this entire thing.
You know what I love though? Is we just chose a book. We were like, I think this is sci-fi. We didn't all love it, and that's fine. Like, I feel like if we were only choosing books that we've read and loved, then we wouldn't be able to have like really fun conversations and be able to say like some months we love them, all of us love them, some of us it's kind of like split, and then other ones it's not the best. So
I mean, if you guys read all the books that I loved, we would have a good time. Because I have space. I'm just kidding.
We are going to read in May, Cerulean Sea. I seriously can't wait. I cannot wait.
House of the Cerulean Sea, Out of the Wind are our next two books. The Discord link, Noelle can leave a link to it after the live show in the description. So if you guys haven't joined yet, we have a Discord server where there are so many people. We have like over 2,000 people.
I think it's like 2,300 and something now.
It's crazy. And so we have a Discord server where we discuss not just books, like everything in general. It's just a lot of fun. So if you guys want to join, you can do so after the live show.
So I was seeing a lot of questions for April. If you haven't seen April, our April book pick is The Shadow of the Wind, which we're really excited about.
I don't have my copy yet, so just imagine it's here.
It's so beautiful. And so whenever we've talked about this book, I only see wonderful things about this book. We're so excited to read it. I got this really great used copy, so excited for this one. And then May is The House of the Cerulean Sea, and I'm sure we'll announce June really soon. I think we might have been trying to pick June, July, and August before we announce them all as a bundle, but I think it would also be great if we
already did figure out, so watch out for that. Right, we figured out.
I will check.
And I'm not just
I know, I knew June. I think maybe we should do a poll for one of these months.
Oh, we do have June, July, and August figured out.
We did.
We're set. I thought maybe we worked this out around August, but that totally makes sense. Okay, awesome.
It'll be like September that we haven't figured out yet, which is like our 1 year anniversary book. So
yes,
hence the pressure.
LOL, someone said, I love how we're also frustrated and done with this book that we immediately abandoned talking about it. I'm dead.
Oh god, they're telling us to spill the June book.
I mean, should we?
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I don't mind because there are only select people watching this. It's not like everybody in the book club is watching this, right? So they'll still be surprised.
Wait, my name is covering it.
Oh, such a tease.
Hello.
Yay! I don't have the copy.
So excited. This is Joel's favorite. This is your favorite book of all time, or in the top 3?
It's one of, if not the favorite book of all time.
So beautiful.
So I'm excited because I've heard nothing but like great, fantastic things about this. Everyone fucking loves this book. So I'm excited. It's been a while since I've read anything Greek mythology too.
Have a box of tissues ready.
Has anyone read it with the audiobook? I read it without the audiobook the first time, but then I remember people saying it was good.
I think I'm gonna do the audiobook this time around because I haven't read it with the audiobook before, and like I'm like, this is probably gonna be like my third reread of it, so I
Third,
make
wow.
Sure I have... So I want to have
maybe I'll be the unpopular opinion and be like, I hated it. I highly doubt it.
I hated the audiobook.
We're so glad you think so. We're so excited for the next 3 months. I think it's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be great. Like as well, like with the way that June is, I think it starts the summer off really well with like July and August. Well, July is another hist.
I'm really excited for July. Just saying. In August.
But I'm also really excited for August because like. And it's a thriller, which like you wouldn't expect from me, but like
did we really
I'm
read a thriller?
I think it is
like a straight up thriller.
I don't think it's.
It was October. No, October was Secret History.
That's like different. I mean, I feel like that's more like academic literature.
Everyone's telling us to stop.
Someone said read this one or Circe first, and they're actually like completely separate. You can read either first or second. They're like totally different stories.
Y'all need to chill.
I enjoy it. I ain't spoiling anymore. No.
You got anticipation.
Not murdering your cat.
Shining. We read The Shining. That was sort of like a horror thriller. Okay.
How would we, Elias? How would you genre Cerulean Sea? What's the genre for that?
Like everything.
Just love, just absolute, just 5 out of 5 genre.
Perfection.
Yeah, perfection. Oh my god!
Like anyone of all ages could read it.
Okay. I've heard that though.
So like it literally could be like read as like a middle grade or even YA or adults. You know, like of all three, it could probably be at least read as adults. Lamau. It is bad for you.
It's bad for you to know. No, I feel like River Song and Doctor Who, which is like, shh, spoilers. Like I ain't spoiling anything. Like,
my pick, Molly. My pick is actually House of the Cerulean Sea because we essentially are reading each other's favorite books for the book club. So interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm like, ooh. Song of Achilles made me cry. Yes, it did. It made me cry too. In September.
Ooh, that's a tier rank. Oh, you're mine.
That's fun.
I feel like that's gonna be great.
Well, the power's on the bottom already, so.
Oh, okay, but when will you announce the next 3? I'd probably say sometime like
May.
May. I probably I'll try and get the graphic done like early May, so then we can post it early May, so that people have enough time to get.
Yeah.
Well, they know what the June book is, but like for people who don't know and aren't here, they have enough time to get the Song of Achilles. So.
Yeah.
Wait. July and August. Ooh. Okay.
Yes.
I wanted to say something that I don't know.
I'm trying to wait. There's a private chat.
Oh my god, you're gonna. Ooh, a poll for September. I think that's a good idea. I think that we might have had some ideas for September that we were excited about that we hadn't fully chosen yet. So I think that maybe choosing our favorites.
I love that maybe in October or in September when our 1-year anniversary, you guys can pick the book that we can read. Oh, I love that. True. Anyways, okay, so they gave me the go, and so July and August will be new releases that are coming out this year. So that's all the hints I'm gonna give y'all. So take that as you will. So we've been reading a lot of like backlisted books. I feel like until June. Yeah. So July and August will be new releases. Very excited. I mean, if you already know me, my videos and Joel's videos, I'm pretty sure you might have an inkling. So, oh my god, I'm saying too much. Goodbye. Well,
I think
love
we should
how
answer this.
Okay, I don't think I do, because Elias definitely has more bookcases than I do. It has to be Elias. He has a wall.
Look at that beauty. Oh my god.
I didn't realize there were that many. Oh my god.
It's a library. It's beautiful.
I aspire.
I have my first like whole wall. Like in my last room, I didn't even have a whole wall either, which was exciting. Consumerism at its finest, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So since they're new books, we'll definitely be announcing them as soon as possible so that everyone has like some time, a little bit of a buffer. We're just waiting. We want to make sure that we're announcing them because I think that like in the late 2020, early 2021, we were kind of announcing like the month of, and so we want to make sure that we have like 3 at a time to announce. So once we have that ready, we'll announce it right away so that everyone
I love how in this live show we only talked about the power for like half of it. And then we just completely stopped.
Yeah, I think if we kept talking about it, I think we would have just been ourselves out.
It would have been really awkward and been like, so who liked this book?
Yeah. And it's just like, yeah. And plus, since we all had like below 3 stars as well, I'm assuming. Yeah, I think we did. Like, it's just like, yeah. I do live in the UK.
He does.
Hence why I couldn't go on the bookshop trip. Well, no, I was there. I was there.
You were there. You were there, but one day.
We would love that.
Oh, it'd be epic. Did anyone truly like it? I think some people did in the Discord.
Yeah.
Like there were definitely some people that liked it, and I think if you did like it, then cool, because like we like respect everyone's reading.
Can have different opinions.
Exactly, and I think that's what makes this book club great, because like even if I somehow gave this book 5 stars and was like, oh my god, this is amazing, that blah 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 blah, Alice wouldn't be like, you're dumb shit. He'd be like, oh, okay, I respect that. But in his mind, he'd be like, you're dumb shit.
I'm just saying, y'all, I'm expecting 5 out of 5 stars for House of Cerulean Sea. So
oh wait, someone asked, I lost it already, but is Cerulean Sea good on audiobook?
I have no idea. But this I will be listening to an audiobook this time because I read the physical for the first time. So I'm really excited.
Where did you get your edition, Joel?
I got it from Blackwell's, which
I think that's a UK edition, right?
Mm-hmm. It's from
because the US is really boring.
The printing's a bit weird. Oh, to be fair though, like with the hand, it's kind of like that tree metaphor they were trying to like go on about power and how like power is like a tree, and I'm assuming it's because like power spreads like roots and stuff, which was interesting. It was like an interesting allegory for power, and I did kind of like mesh with that a bit. Blackwell's ships to the US for free apparently, so there you go.
Okay, everyone's saying the audiobook is great for Cerulean Sea, which is amazing.
Okay.
I feel great about it.
I'm so excited.
I've been listening to the books on audiobook a lot more lately, like especially when I have the physical as well. I just think I get through them faster. That's because I don't know, maybe it's my ADHD. Like I can just focus on the book and zero in with like the sound and also the visual. I just like it. It's like playing a little movie in my head.
Multitask. Yeah, we love multitasking.
Exactly. Ooh, new Sally Rooney in September. Do you all plan on reading? I have never read a Sally Rooney book.
I have not either. I've heard a lot of things. The show, I think.
I will probably read it.
You don't like it, right?
I don't
love. You like her books.
I don't love her books, but I loved Normal People, the show. I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was beautifully shot, but I will probably read it just to see. But I don't love her writing very much. Yeah, look at his nails. Are you kidding me?
My roommate did it.
Amazing.
Like half circles.
They're cute. But yeah, I think I was speaking to Carly from like Uncarly from this like I think yesterday or the day before. Like Sally Rooney's very hit or miss for people, and so
I love her.
Yeah, I love her too. Yeah, she's great.
Noelle, your favorite. They said we know mine and Joel's favorites. What was your favorite that we've read?
Yeah, I think we read The Shining for me. Yeah. I think we also wanted to do like a cold month. I think if I was gonna, I mean, it's hard because I'm like, let's all read The Hating Game because it's like, you know, I love that romance. But then I'm also like, well, if like half of us don't like it, I think I'll be like, oh God, why did we read that?
I would be down to read like a romance, like an actual romance.
Yeah,
because
same.
I haven't read an actual romance in like forever. So.
I was meant to read The Hating Game a while ago and I still haven't. So I would totally.
I mean, Actor A.G. Brown, I read 5 out of 5. So good for me.
You guys are so nice.
I think it'd be so much fun. We have not. So me and Elias have met in person. We have not met Joel in person, and I'm not kidding. I was supposed to go to London April of 2020. Obviously, that did not happen, but we're gonna go, and so I am in the mood to go to London, and me and Elias would love to go. Oh my God! Imagine it would be so much fun.
Iconic. Wait, Joel. Noel and I were talking about this yesterday. How tall are you?
Okay, this is weird because yesterday I actually measured my height with my bookshelves. So again, we're all in sync. Yeah, I'm 5'8".
You're 5'8"?
Yeah.
5'8" kings.
5'8". Go on.
5'8" kings.
Love that.
Joel, how tall do you think I am?
Oh. Like 5'4"?
5'7"?
Oh,
we're right near each other.
We're on the spectrum.
Yes.
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 Oh,
we won't have like an awkward
show.
Someone said, "How did you guys?"
God, how did you guys meet? How did?
So okay, here's my tale. I had been aware of Joel for so long. Like I had been seeing his thumbnails pop up and I thought he was amazing. And then I watched all his videos and I was like a fangirl, but I didn't want to be like weird about it. I was just like, I'm just gonna love him from far away. And then me and Elias met because we actually live really close to each other, or we did, I guess now we're a little further apart, but Elias and I started talking on Instagram and then we met in person at a bookstore, which was really, really fun. And then I think it was Elias that bridged the gap between me and Joel. Because I'd always been like, I'd love to get to know Joel, but
because I think
I
think we were talking to each other like a little bit because of one of like the bookish outfits I had posted, and then like you had like reshared it to your story, and then I think that's how me and Noelle like first like started speaking to each other. We were just like, oh my God, you're amazing! Oh my God, you're amazing! And then like that was it. But I think it was definitely like Elias that kind of like bridged the gap and like completed the trifecta.
No biggie, just sitting here all by. Oh my God. Yeah, I think it all stemmed from like Instagram. Like I just, Joe, I don't quite remember how we met. It was over on Instagram, I think. You started a channel.
I mean, like I had watched you for like a long time, so like, yeah, it was. It was. I was just like, first I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, okay, be real, be human.
Oh.
And so yeah.
Noelle, you put up a question, and I think we were answering another question. What was that other question? I can remember.
Oh, I think someone said, what if the three of us all got together and did a live show at the same time? So it was like the three of us all living together. Like if we all went to London and we like all were like in a room.
I thought it was like now. I feel like person, that would be the day.
I feel like it would have to be like where we do like this grand reveal. So like we start off in like these like positions, and then we're like, oh wait, like there's technical difficulties, and then like two of us disappear, and then we reappear in one person's camera, and we're like, yo.
Oh, that's so cute.
I think that's so cute.
I like that you'll always end up with balanced ratings. Elias being the hardest to please, Joel being the most optimistic, and Noelle being in the middle.
I love that.
I literally, that's amazing. Oh my God, please come to London. Oh, I'm hoping to move to London at some point this year. If everything works out well.
When will we know?
With this specific internship I applied for within like the next 2 weeks, I think. But like I'm trying to apply to as much as I can basically at this moment so that I can move.
All right, my friends, the top of the hour has hit.
To be honest, this is like one of the most fun shows for the most boring book that we have.
I hope everyone had fun with this little Q&A at the end.
Yeah, I hope everyone
chat
was like chill, you know,
just
we all
casual
vibe
chat
in here, even though we didn't really talk about the book that much. But thanks so much for being here, everybody.
Thank you for the luck, everyone. I submit it this week, so
next month we have Shadow of the Wind, and then May we have Cerulean Sea. So Shadow of the Wind, I mean, what week is it? Because we're like right in the middle of April. So I'm thinking that our live show will probably happen. There's a week, like the first weekend of May is the 1st and 2nd. So that might make sense. Or maybe the weekend after the 8th and the 9th. We'll always announce it on Instagram. And then we'll always like share swipe up links to the live shows on Instagram. So that's this is next month. We're so excited. I've literally only heard amazing things. Truly have only heard amazing things. So I'm really excited. Oh, you have? Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's way better than The Power.
Oh,
5 out of 5.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, there's some people saying please do the 8th to the 9th, or 8th or 9th. So that might be the weekend we shoot for.
It's 10 o'clock. The Discord knows what time I go to sleep. So
hello, we are the Late Night Book Club, Late Night Owls here.
Yes.
It'll be hosted on Alice's channel?
Oh my god, I'm hosting. Yeah. Dwayne, the party.
Oh my god, love.
Oh my god, I totally forgot I was like hosting this. Oh my god, so Joel, House and Cerulean Sea will be on your channel. Oh, we'd love to see it.
So exciting. I can't wait. Thank you all for joining us for this live show and for coming with so many good questions and conversation. It was wonderful. And we're really excited for April. I was going to say May. April. Very excited. Love you all.
We're also excited for May.
Oh, we're so excited for May. I actually was like, I mean, why not just start it now? I mean, why not? I'm in the mood. It's really sunny outside. Why not? So, all right. Thanks, everyone. See you next month.
Bye.
Bye.